Hi, it's me. It's week, um, it's my week 12 wrap-up video, but we're into week 13 on Optifast, or rather coming off of Optifast a little bit. I would have normally done a video yesterday, but I decided to wait a day because yesterday was my first reintroduction of food into my meal plan. And so I decided I would wait until after I had that meal to do the video and let you know what I thought about eating again for the first time in 12 weeks. So I'll tell you how my weigh-in went, first of all. I am only down half a pound this week, which was kind of the pits, but what can you do? Um, I am a grand total of 26 pounds down in the full 12 weeks. I have lost 5.5 inches from around my waist, which is just ridiculous. I've never monitored that before, and to me, it's a lot. Um, but I'm pretty happy. So I'm now sitting at 190.5 pounds, and that's 26 pounds down from my starting weight. And I'm pretty happy with those results. I, of course, wish it was more, but we'll keep trucking and hopefully it'll get better from here. So at this point, I am officially down to 3 shakes in a day and 1 meal. And yesterday I decided that I would do my supper meal um, for my first inaugural welcome back to food. And I chose to do this week we're supposed to have, I think I explained this last week, but this week we're supposed to have um, a cup of vegetables and three protein choices in our meal, and we're not supposed to have any carbohydrates or you know anything like that. So what I chose to do was I chose to have a chicken fajita with bell peppers and onions and some refried beans and lots of delicious hot spicy salsa. And I put it on top of a lettuce wrap so that I didn't have the carbs from the wrap. So um, the flavors were almost overly intense when I first bit into it, but it was like heaven. I can't tell you what it's like not to eat solid food and only taste the Optifast shakes for 3 months with, 3 cups of broth in total added in there and a couple of pieces of gum. With exception to coffee and tea, I had no other flavors. So to me, it was like an explosion of flavor, and I enjoyed it immensely. I have to say, to a certain degree, I wasn't really listening to the program um, yesterday. I was told that we were supposed to wait to eat fruit until second week we were back on food, mostly because of the digestive system. Now, I did have a little fruit, but to be honest with you, I don't even know if it really makes any difference whatsoever, because I only had 2 raspberries, but I couldn't help myself. My partner came home, he had a great big container of fresh raspberries, and he said maybe later on in the week, if you think your stomach can handle it, you can have one of these. And I was like, I hadn't even had dinner yet, and I just said, give me one. And I took one and I popped it in my mouth, and it was like this burst of juice in my mouth, and I almost melted right there, honest to goodness. I thought, this is ridiculous how delicious one raspberry was. And then I decided I'd have a second one. Then I stopped, told him to take them away, and waited for supper. So I guess the first thing I actually put in my mouth was 2 raspberries, but I couldn't help myself. So all day I actually kept looking at the container of raspberries again. Every time I opened up the fridge to get some water, there were the raspberries, and I can't tell you how much I really wanted to have one, but I didn't. I held myself back. Um, the meal was fantastic, and I am actually looking forward to my dinner tonight. I'm also doing a dinner tonight. I've decided, I mean, it's kind of a breakfast food, but I've decided that I'm going to wait to have it with my partner, so we can have a proper meal together. And I'm having a Western omelet tonight, and that's my grand plan, and I'm very excited about that. I love eggs, and I have been missing them desperately. I don't know if I've mentioned this in the past or not, but there's been a few things along the way that I've just started to crave, and eggs was always one of them. Anything garlicky. So last night in my fajitas, there was some garlic going on, and it was beautiful. And hot and spicy food. I love hot and spicy food. So spicy was great last night. And of course, um, so eggs, garlic, um, and fruit. For some reason, like strawberries that I went picking, and the smell of those were so divine. And the raspberries that I was at the fresh farmers market on the weekend, and they smelled so good. So when he came home with them, I couldn't. I couldn't. I had to. I figured, what's two berries? It's not gonna. I don't think I'm gonna gain weight from two simple raspberries, but I hope not. I didn't have any digestive issues whatsoever last night. All went down beautifully. Um, and I have no complaints about food. I mean, some people who had started their transition day sooner in my class discussed, having it feel like it was sort of sitting like a brick in their stomach, and they did not feel well. Um, one person was talking about how they had a very basic zucchini and chicken, and it really troubled their stomach. They did not feel well. So I was sort of concerned that I had planned a spicier meal, but my stomach's always handled it in the past, so I figured I'd wing it, and luckily, no issues with that. And it was delicious. That's all I have to say about that. I will stop talking about food now, and I will um, change my subject here. So next week we go down to two shakes, two meals, and we get to bring in some carbohydrates. So it'll be very interesting to me, um, how my body reacts to that, because I don't know if I'm carb sensitive or not, but I've always loved carbohydrates. I've always loved everything starchy. Um, Pasta, bread, potatoes, anything like that. I've always loved it. I mean, it's part of the reason I am the size that I am, because I always chose to eat those things. And I'm hoping that I'm not going to have like a weird mental breakdown, free for all. Oh, now I can eat them. I hope I don't overdo it. That's what I'm hoping. But I'm being very regimented about it. So, doing well. 5.5 inches from around my waist. I'm still reeling from that. That's sort of like a non-scale victory for me, and hopefully the half pound will be better next week. I don't know what to expect when we're eating food, so maybe my body will not readjust to it as well as, when we are in ketosis, like on only the shakes. So we'll see. All went well. I hope you're all having a good week, and we'll fill you in on what goes on throughout the week this week, and we'll see you next week. Have a good one.